What's up everyone? So today I wanted to talk about something that I've wanted to make a video about a little while ago, but for whatever reason I've just always put it off. But yeah, I just wanted to give my honest feelings about cloud gaming, how people consume it, and also more importantly about this idea of ownership. And this is more towards cloud gaming on the Nintendo Switch than just cloud gaming in general. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not trying to be negative. I actually do think cloud gaming is great. It gives people the option to play games more conveniently. You know, the idea that everything is just instantly accessible. Like for example, if you wanted to stream a movie or TV series on Netflix or Amazon or Disney Plus, that's what the cloud does for gaming. However, when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, I feel like that's where things get a little bit more murkier, because it's not really a service that you're paying for. With something like Disney Plus or with Stadia, you're paying for a service. So you pay a subscription fee and you have a library of content that's accessible to you. With the Switch, however, the games that are offered on cloud are you're paying a standalone price for each game. And before we even get onto price, and I think a lot of people's like sort of reservations about cloud gaming on the Switch comes from the idea that the Switch itself is meant to be portable. I mean, you can obviously play it docked, you have it connected to your TV, but the idea of being able to then just take it and go out and play it wherever you want to, that sort of becomes a little bit more difficult when you're thinking about having that system always connected to the internet. And I mean, sure, if you've got a phone that you can use as a hotspot which has good Wi-Fi, it may work depending on the game. So there is that argument, you know, that the Switch is a portable machine, therefore how can you expect to run cloud games on it? Now for myself personally, I would say 95% of the time my Switch is docked. It's at home. I play it on a monitor, I play it on my TV. So that's not technically an issue for me because it's always connected to the internet. But I think that is a valid criticism. There are times when I do take my Switch out, and if I wanted to play a particular game and I can only play that game if I'm connected to the internet, then, you know, what am I going to do then? And obviously I bring this topic up because Square Enix are bringing the Kingdom Hearts games to the Nintendo Switch by way of cloud gaming. And I feel like it has put some people off from wanting to get the game, myself included. Kingdom Hearts is a game that I would really like to play. Like there's games I haven't played. The only one I think I've played is the one that came out on the 3DS, which is actually included in this collection as well. But the idea of having to play it through the cloud just doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't run properly. There's been a lot of videos that have been made by YouTubers recently about how bad Kingdom Hearts runs on the Switch, and there is a demo on the eShop now, so you can go and try out the games, test your connection, see how it runs. But yeah, they do feel a bit choppy. Even the older games, which you kind of wonder, why does it feel choppy? And then another subject is, why weren't the older games brought to the Switch natively? Now obviously Kingdom Hearts 3 could be a cloud game, but then there's no reason that the other games couldn't be released in a physical format or in digital format. It just baffles me a little bit as to why Square Enix went down this road. And then there's the pricing. It brings up this idea of services. You're paying for a service, you know, you pay for something monthly or by the year, you pay a lump sum, and then you're able to access that content or access a library of content. And I mean, yeah, I mean, when we look at these games, when we look at the pricing of the games, we've got Kingdom Hearts 3. So at the moment you can pre-order the games until, you know, the release date. You get 20% off. So you've got Kingdom Hearts 3. It's usually $49.99. It's $39.99 now. You've got Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5, 2.5 Remix. That's usually $32.99. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter is usually $39.99. And then you have the Kingdom Hearts collection, which includes everything, and that is $79.99. Now you are getting quite a few games here packaged in, so I'm not sort of trying to dismiss that. You are getting a few games here, but they're games that run through the cloud. It doesn't run properly on the Nintendo Switch. These games you can buy cheaper elsewhere. I mean, the collection is here, it's £80 here. You can actually get a physical copy of the game for like probably £30 on the PlayStation 4. You know, I feel like, and maybe I'm an older gamer. I've been gaming for quite a while now, so whenever it comes to buying games, I always prefer to buy my games physically. And I mean, there's times where I get like review codes for games and I have a digital copy of that game, and I just want to buy the game physically because I want to have that game, and I can always say, this is my game, you know, it's never going to be taken away from me. You know, I can always play this game as long as I've got the console and the game. I can always play that game. So I mean, there's the issue of being able to play the game portably or being able to play it at all if you haven't even got the right connection. But let's say you do have the right connections. Let's say you're able to play this game, and then a year down the line, Nintendo say, all right, we're cutting this service now. We're not allowing for cloud gaming anymore. And you've lost that game. You've spent £50 to rent a game, basically. That game was never yours. You've been renting it. And that is my biggest issue with cloud gaming on the Nintendo Switch. When it comes to services, I can understand it because you have a library of games. You're paying for a service and you're playing a library of games. When it comes to Nintendo Switch, you're paying for one particular game and you're paying full price for that game, which you can get cheaper elsewhere. And it's baffling to me. Like, I can't understand why that pricing happens. And I feel like Nintendo need to sort of step in at this point when it comes to the pricing. They have the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack service. Whether that could include cloud gaming in some way, that might be a solution here, because charging people £80 to play old games, and yes, obviously you do have Kingdom Hearts 3 in there, which is a more newer game, but charging them to pay £80 to play games on the cloud which they don't even own, that's crazy to me. So I feel like there needs to be something there. They need to work out something, either include that in the expansion pack so you can actually play these games that you're renting. You can rent them through the expansion pack. I feel that would be a more acceptable deal here than people going out and paying all this money for these games which they're probably not even able to play properly. Okay, so I've just looked up I've looked up the Kingdom Hearts collection on the PS4. You can get the complete package physically for $39.50 from Amazon. You can get Kingdom Hearts 3 on the PS4 for £11.80 from Amazon. You're getting charged double the amount to rent a game on the Nintendo Switch. Don't do it. And I mean, yeah, that's my rant, as it were, when it comes to cloud gaming on the Switch. I don't think it's a viable option. I don't think you should. I'm not telling you how to spend your money. If you just have a Nintendo Switch and no other console, and it's your only option, and you really want to play these games, definitely try the demos. Each sort of game that comes through the cloud has a demo, so you can actually test out your connection, see if it works for you. I do know there's some people who just can't play it at all because their connections just aren't strong enough. But yeah, definitely check it out. I personally wouldn't recommend supporting these types of games, especially when it comes to this one from Square Enix, which is, most of these games could be made natively for the Switch. They could be made into physical collections or digital through the eShop. Apart from Kingdom Hearts 3, the other games do not need to run on the cloud. So I feel it was a little bit lazy, and I wouldn't support this type of gaming. Yeah, obviously Hitman 3, games like Control, Guardians of the Galaxy, those games obviously can't run on the Switch. So that's where cloud gaming comes into play. But again, the pricing is just completely off. You can't be charging people full price to rent a game. That's crazy. That to me is just crazy. I wouldn't recommend supporting that sort of business practice, because these companies, they'll see people buying these cloud versions and they'll think, oh, there's a market there, let's continue to do that, and we'll continue to get these lazy ports basically coming through the cloud, and you're paying full price to rent a game. And I can't stress that enough. You're paying full price to rent a game. You're never going to own that game. That game can be taken from you at any point, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's just throwing money away. And yeah, if anything, buy another console. Save that money that you would pay to get a cloud version, buy another console, and then you can get that same game a lot cheaper another time. But yeah, those are my thoughts on cloud gaming on the Switch. It's not good. It's not very good. Nintendo need to work on some sort of system, maybe some subscription system. I think maybe somehow try and get that included in the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. Anyway, that's me done for the day. That's my rant over. I'm done. I'll see you next time.